Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be another look at some custom singles I played with and selecting something new for the new month. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you're into eyeshadow palettes, essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup the way that I am, then definitely stay tuned because I like to come on here once a month to show you the custom singles palette I played with in the previous month, show you all the swatches and all the looks, but also to select something new. And there's a bit of audience participation here because I ask you for suggestions to help me build these custom palettes this year. And there's a bit of a reward here as well because you can win a $25 gift card to the Sydney Grace website if you decide to enter. The link for that is going to be in the description box down below, so if you want to enter for next month and have a chance to win the gift card, then definitely check that link out in the description box down below. And before we get into the video, it may be good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, which greatly skews my makeup preferences. And because I've been buying, trying, and reviewing makeup for more than a decade, I also have some very strong favorites, so I hope you'd like to join the Snow Angel Club, and please click subscribe down below. So yes, the custom palette I built this month was this guy, so it was 6 shades, and I made it off of a suggestion of you guys. So someone who entered the giveaway in the previous month sent me a picture with the suggestion of what I could build this month. It was this really nice like thunder storm kind of thing, and I ended up doing 3 looks with this. I did already also select the winner for this month, so that person should have an email by now and be updated on the fact that they are the winner, but as this video goes live, the form will have been reset and all the entries count again towards the April video, you could say. So in March, February, March, I was playing with these like pinky purpley kind of shades because it went really well with the picture, I felt. I have some like bluish, darker shades here and then some like pinky purples down the bottom. I will tell you a little bit about each shade individually and how I enjoyed playing with it, and I'll show you the 3 looks I ended up doing with it. So the shades in here are 2 by Lethal, 1 or 2 by Cleona. I think it's 2 by Cleona. Yes, 2 by Cleona, and then there's 2 by Sydney Grace. It was a really nice equal split. So let me start with the dark matte right here. So let me check what it's called again. I never know. So this dark matte down here at the bottom is Lethal Cosmetics Deceit, and this is a really pretty matte. It was perhaps a little bit too deep for it to really work in my crease, so that's definitely something I didn't do. I refrained from doing that, but it's a really pretty shade. I think it's nice for like smoking things out on the lower lash line or to be used as liner for me, but for me it's a bit too intense to just pop it into the crease. Whenever I did use it in sort of like a more blendy way, I definitely always blended it out with the shade right above it. So let me talk about that one next. So the other matte in here I have is Sydney Grace's Regal, and this is one of my favorite sort of like dusty, dirty, purpley, lavender, lilac kind of shades that is just great for me for like all around use. This is what I popped into my crease every single time I did a look with this palette. It just works wonders on my skin tone. It has the exact amount of like cool toneness, but still enough purple for it to do something with these shades, and I felt it worked really well with these shades indeed. Then the next shade here is Calx from Cleona, and this was pretty, but it wasn't as intense as I thought it was going to be. So this is more of a topper shade. So I felt the intensity I really had to build up. It definitely doesn't go on as opaque as it does here in the pan, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it looks blue here, and then it has that pink flash. So it's more of like a duochrome kind of thing. It was definitely a very pretty shade, but I felt a little bit underwhelmed with how pigmented it was, but I can see myself definitely topping it over like something like the dark shade here. I'm not sure anymore if that's what I did with the look that I ended up doing. It's been a while since I did those looks, but yeah, this shade was really nice. It just wasn't as intense as I had hoped. This is Skylights from Cleona, and this is also really pretty. Again, a bit on the sheer side, I found. So these 2 shimmers I thought were going to be far more intense. Now that doesn't make them bad shadows, it just means you need to use them in a different way. So these are, again, more like toppery shades, or, you know, you can still use this as a standalone, and I think they make for a really pretty combination as well. But in terms of purple shimmers, it's not going to be my purple shimmer because of that. And this definitely also has some actual visible sparkle to it, which, again, I'm not a huge fan of. With my hooded lids, that can just lead to fallout throughout the day. I didn't experience that, but that's just something you need to be careful with. And it was a pretty shade, but it didn't wow me in the end. The final lethal shade in here was the shade Stargaze. This is really, really pretty, and it was exactly the sort of intensity that I felt some of the other shades were lacking, but that did mean that I didn't feel this palette was very versatile, which is why I ended up doing 3 looks, and I sort of just stuck to that because I felt it was a bit limiting, because if these two had been as intense as they look in the actual pan, I think I would have liked this palette a lot more. But yeah, Stargaze was the one that saved the day. And then this is Sydney Grace's Winter Garden, and this was really pretty, but I definitely use it more so as an inner corner highlight compared to anything else that I got going on here. I considered putting it in a halo eye with like that deeper shade for a minute, but then I decided against it because it is a very light shade, and I felt it was too much of a contrast, actually. It doesn't look like it when you hold it up like this in the pan. But I felt because it has this green almost flip to it, it's like a rosy sort of dirty pink with like a greenish blue flash. I'm not sure if the light catches it, but the flash on the duochrome was more green on my skin tone than blue. So I felt that in the end it wasn't perfect, but it was still very pretty. And I did end up doing a third look where I just popped this all over the lid for like a super easy eye. So what then are the 3 looks that I ended up doing with this? I definitely made a more like blue tone look the first time round, where I really focused on like the top half of the palette, and that's when I found out that this shade just wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be. So that was a bit disappointing. As I've already mentioned, I always use this matte pretty exclusively in the crease the entire time, but I did blend some of this blue into it, and then I used these two all over the lid to sort of set it off and pop that into the inner corner. But then I wanted to do something with the purples as well, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I also used a bit of this matte just to deepen it up and have something for the purple to actually sit against and to have a bit of contrast. And the final look was super simple. This in the crease, that all over the lid, and this as liner. Oh, ooh, I'm dropping things. So it was a successful palette for sure. I was able to pull some stunning looks out of it, but this month I have another really exciting one for you. But I saw some inspiration pictures again from the people who entered the giveaway this time round. So thank you so very much for sending me your inspiration pictures. I greatly appreciated it. But one of you also sent me a sort of like custom mock-up of some singles you had of the kind of palette you'd like to see. And I saw that picture and I was like, are we soul sisters? Because I made myself a custom lethal palette in the Black Friday sale. I looked at your palette and then I looked at this, and in the back of my brain I was thinking I would like to play with my new lethal singles this time around, because I feel they're very springy, save for maybe the green. And this has a lot of their multi-chromes in, and I did already film a short where I swatch all of these shades out, but I haven't put them on my face yet. But some of these like grayish purples were in your palette. You also had this like really light, almost yellow lemon kind of leaning shade, even though mine is a shimmer and I believe yours was a matte. I'll make sure to pop the inspiration picture up on the screen so you can see. So maybe I should hold the palette here so you can see the inspiration picture here. So I thought there were quite a lot of similarities between our palettes, and I was like, that I think it's warranted that I just give this a whirl and try out these shades, and that next month I just review this new lethal palette. So I've got 1, 2, 3 mattes in here, everything else has a shimmer, and I believe there are like 5 duochromes in here. It seems to have a really pretty like purple in here. I'm really excited for this shade here, which is one of their multi-chromes. So I hope I can play with this and use all the shades and show you some looks with this next time. So this was a short but sweet custom singles palette for sure, because normally I take you down to the floor and we build a new palette together, but now I just felt I had already something lying about that I wanted to use anyway. that one of you already prompted me to do. It's like, was it telepathy? I'm not sure. So thank you so very much again to everybody who entered this month. Remember, if you're not a winner, you can keep entering to enter the giveaway. And of course, if you did already win, you can still enter the fun aspect of you guys determining what I will be building next month. That's definitely still possible. So I hope you like to stay tuned for all of that goodness. I'm currently in the midst of showing you all of my declutters, which I already filmed, and also my wardrobe declutters over on the other channel. So I've got a lot of content coming your way. So I really hope you enjoyed watching today, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!